I am Oscar W. Fitchett.
And I'm Sophie.
And welcome to the first video of the first ever Spooktober, aka the month of spooks. Throughout this month of October, since we enjoy getting rather festive with Halloween, we thought it'd be cool to just do multiple videos within this month to celebrate the month of spooks. To start that, since there's one big horror film coming out this month, and that being Jigsaw.
Would you say it's a big horror film?
What we're going to do, we're going to watch every Saw film, and in between each Saw film, we're going to finish watching the first Saw film, then we're going to talk about that Saw film, and etc, etc, etc. And since we got this beaut of a set, we're going to do that. So, without further ado, we'll watch Saw, directed by James Wan. And we'll see you in about an hour and 40 or so. I don't know how long this film is.
I can't remember. After the movie.
We'll see you after the movie. So, we've just finished watching Saw 1. Directed by James Wan, written by Lee Winnell. The OG, not quite the OG Saw, because technically the OG Saw came out in 2003, it was a short film. But Saw is the first in the Saw franchise, and it's easily it's the best film in this franchise, though, isn't it? It's like,
yeah, realistically, yes.
Not only is this my favourite Saw film, like, well, duh, but it's probably my favourite James Wan film, maybe. Conjuring 1's like the only one that's really fighting that #1 spot for me personally.
Yeah. I think this is the one I've seen, out of the Saw movies, this is the one I've seen the most. It's usually because it's one of those films that you, like, if someone says they haven't seen it, you kind of like, oh, we need to watch this then. If they don't know anything really about it or what the ending is.
Oh, yeah. I will admit, first time I watched it, I adored the film. And I still really, really like this film. I'm not going to say that it's wearing on me, but I will say that I do acknowledge more of the faults now. The cheesier moments where Carrie Elwes is like, "You bastard!" or whatever like that.
You bastard! I'll kill you!
Yeah, it does get a bit like that, and there are moments where it's like, why don't you just say it? Where it's like, well, how about you tell me what's happened? It's like, no, how about you tell me what's happened? It's like,
just freaking say what's going on.
It's like that moment in Resident Evil 7 where, Ethan's talking to the police officer, and the police officer's like, well, what are you doing here? It's like, oh, what are you doing here? It's like, it's my job.
Yeah.
Now answer my question. It's not quite that extent, but it is moments like that where I'm like, dialogue is not the greatest as such.
Apart from that one line about the peanut butter and the gangbang.
It's like, look, I don't care if you cover yourself in peanut butter and have a 50 hooker gangbang or something like that.
That's my favourite line in the entire movie.
Lee Winnell's
Game Over.
Lee Winnell's easily the best part of this film.
I find it quite amusing that Lee Winnell does a better accent than Carrie Elwes.
That's the thing, it's like, how I say it's like, yeah, you can tell Carrie Elwes is an American, and then you're like, he's Lee Winnell. I'm like, oh yeah, he's Australian. But even when things, like, when you do watch this film and you do notice the more laughable, or not laughable, the more cheesier, dated moments, it's always until the end, like, right after, like, when Adam, played by Lee Winnell, smashes Zepp's head, and then it goes into that scene, and then it's the ending. The ending always still gives me chills. The theme, I think, the Saw theme is one of the best movie themes ever.
Yeah.
Top 3 maybe, I would say.
I think my 2 favourite scenes in this movie would be I think we should pick 2 favourite parts.
Yes, okay.
My 2 favourite parts would be the bit with Amanda. I really like that.
Yeah, because that was the first. Yes, that's that's the most Saw thing in the film, and it's just
the last from Zepp driving to
5-10
10
minutes.
5-10 minutes.
I do think the ending's one of the best endings to a film ever. Yeah. I would say so, and it's very. Again, I always think it's very impressive when a feature film debut can be that strong of a film. I think that's why I also like the film just that little bit more.
What will be the 2 worst things about this?
The 2 worst things about this film. I would say the 2 worst things at times, one of the worst, quite a little bit with Carrie Elwes. Actually, I think Carrie Elwes, is one of the weaker parts of this film, and I think anything like the bit, like the scene when he's having an affair and you see him going to the hotel or whatever, the shady motel or anything like that. I get why that's there, but I don't know. Like it's moments like that, like Dr. Gordon living his life type of moments. I think that's a pretty weakish. I find Adam more of a sympathetic character than I do Dr. Gordon.
Yeah, I think Adam's more relatable.
I do think the last part of this film is definitely like.
Yeah.
Where just so much stuff gets you get like info overload at point. Not overload in terms of the thing where it's like stop it, but it's like with all this information starts coming into you, the way where you think Adam's dead, but then he's not, and then you think Zepp's the killer, but then he's not, and then and then Dr. Gunn cuts off his foot, and it's like Jesus Christ, what is happening?
Just a big cluster of things. I think my two weakest things for this would be some of the acting.
Yeah.
And probably some of the editing as well.
The editing can get.
It's okay in some parts.
I think the ending.
It's really overused. At
I think the ending worked. The hyper cut editing style of the ending's fine.
Like I was.
And I think the Amanda bit's okay.
But the bit that I didn't like, you know, the bit where they're driving, it's like Zepp and Danny Glover in the cars.
Yeah, it's like.
Really. I'm just like, that's really not necessary.
I have to admire the fact that this is an independent film, an independent passion project film that just blew up and became a franchise.
Yeah.
I have to admire that things, because I mean, yeah, that doesn't really that really happens today. So it's a miracle that kind of happened over 10 years ago.
How many spoopy ghosts would you give this out of 5?
Out of 5, I would give this. Oh, right. Are we judging on how I like it, or based on
how you like it?
So not how spooky, because this isn't really spooky.
No, these aren't spooky, but it's how much you like it.
Oh, I would say a 4.5 spooky ghosts out of 5. I would say 4.5, 4.5. I would say spooky ghosts out of 5 is how I would rate this. Again, I really like this, and I do think the ending really does help how how it stays in our minds.
Yeah.
Because without that, the ending still gives me chills to this day, and with Tobin Bell going, "Game over!" It's just such.
That went a bit Vin Diesel.
My fault when he goes "Game over!" And it's just such an incredible. And then Lee Winnell, that's
the light and everything as well.
It's so good. So it's that. Since it's one of the best endings to a film ever, I think, and one of the best twists, I would also say. But I also do like the lead up to it as well. So that's why I'll give it 4. I would give 4.5.
I would give this 4 spoopy ghosts.
I agree. I would say within the 4 region of spoopy ghosts. So we'll see you for Saw 2. So that was Saw 2.
That was Saw 2.
The menu screen was pretty amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
Saw 2, not directed by James Wan.
But written by Lee Winnell.
And it's directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, who also co-wrote the screenplay, I believe, as well. So it's got a bit of that Winnell still in there. Of course, it's not as good as the first one, but I enjoy this one.
It's one of the better ones, definitely.
I think it helps that it's not that long. It's like an hour and 28 minutes. So it does go by pretty quick. The pacing is good, I think.
And it's not set too far from the first one?
No, not quite, no. This film, we got our lead, played by Donnie Wahlberg, or how we refer to him now as Funky Funk.
Yep.
So we got Funky Funk as the lead, and the premise really of this one is just
it's basically a police officer beating up a cancer patient while some people try to get out of a house.
What's your opinions on Saw 2?
I enjoy it. It's like you just said there, basically, it's not as good as the first one, which... Were any of them really ever going to be? But it was cool to see some characters come back, and it was cool to see references to the first one as well, and the continuity in terms of that was quite good. Yes,
I enjoyed the presence of Shawnee Smith as Amanda in this film.
There was a lot of plot holes.
This film is the beginning of the
decline.
It's the beginning of the groups of people in a place.
Rather than just 2 people or 1 person.
And it's a group of people who, quite frankly, they're not the best actors in the world.
Yeah.
You got the kid who's...
He's acceptable.
He doesn't have much to do.
He doesn't do much. Amanda's good.
I got some things to say about Shirley Smith in this film.
It's more so as it goes on, like she's
good. It's whenever she reacts with things, she's like.
Yeah.
I find that like it's like.
I got that when she got through in the pit of needles, like, 'cause that would knock, but still.
I'm fine with that, but it's like when it happened at another point, but at the end when the guy's like cutting his.
Yeah,
neck,
and she's like
going. Ah! It's like no way. It's not like that much. It's like, and they're trying to make it, and they're doing the theme, and they're trying to make it seem like it's like
Dr. Gone.
Like it's where it's not. It's just a guy being an idiot.
I like Amanda. The kid was fine for a yard.
Is it? It's not Obi. It's Arby.
Yeah, the guy who I thought was homeless, but apparently isn't.
It's not. But it's like the bit where it's like as well, where the macho bloke's like. It's like, I'll kill you, and then he's got like the knife towards him, and then he cuts himself. It's like, if you're gonna threaten me with a knife, at least draw blood or something like that.
I tell you what, though, that guy is basically just like GTA in summary, isn't he?
Oh my god, he literally is. Like, he's literally GTA in summary because he's trying to look the part. He's acting all macho. He's like, this is a good idea, but it's really not a good idea.
He's a drug dealer.
Yeah, he's doing all this stuff. And his whole motivation at the end, like, first time I watched this, I enjoyed the film, and I do remember the twist, like, I really was like, I did not expect that. That actually did catch me off guard. It's the
whole thing about Amanda being in on it.
That, and the whole thing of like, oh, this takes place, like, before.
Oh, yeah. That was cool, I like that.
Yeah, I like the whole thing where the kid's in a vault or whatever like that. Like that. But it's the bit where the guy starts going all, like, lunatic, and he starts murdering people. It's like... It's where he could have simply said to the black guy, like, where he's like, hey, back of the minds, this guy's got a number on in his neck. We should look at each other's necks.
Yeah.
Instead of going like...
It's a bit like he's not going to get an award for being the last one to get out.
That's one thing I have to say as well about the traps in this one. Like, this is all... These have some good traps.
They're cringy ones.
My favourite traps, though, are the needles and the... And when I say favourite, it's the one... These are the ones that make me go, ugh! Like, that's how I judge favourite in Saw traps.
It's weird as well, because I always think that getting burned to death must be, like, the worst thing in the world, but then that one's the least, like, unpleasant thing.
I think because in so much in film, we're just used to people getting set on fire, like, burnt alive or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas the needle ones, where the editing comes, the hyper editing comes back in it. But with the needles, that's fine because that's like how you're feeling watching. Like the needles are sticking out of Amanda, and then she's like grabbing them, and the glass is breaking.
And
it's like, and the wrist thing. Wrist things just get me generally, like all the time.
It doesn't really bother me. With me, it's like
messes me up.
Kind of like eyes, like I can touch my own eyes.
Which we had another eye thing.
I can touch my own eyes, but like watching someone like gouge their eye over. You know the bit, like, you know in the one that gets me, it's like in Zombie Flesh Eaters with the
yes,
thing. I hate that.
Yeah.
But like eyes, I'm not a fan of. Fingernails and toenails, just nails.
I can deal with nails to an extent. It's wrists and eyes. I'm probably like
Like toenails are the worst for me.
Like in the first film, how I said Lee Winnell is clearly the best actor in this film. Are we in agreement that Tobin Bell is clearly the best? The best. Like, we go from seeing the house where everyone's like, yo, fool, and then, yeah, GTA, and all
you
that
became
stuff.
Anna Faris in Scary Movie 2,
and then you get Tobin Bell talking to Donnie Wahlberg, and you just immediately fixed on the screen.
Donnie Wahlberg's an asshole in
this movie. But it's like with Tobin Bell, it's like, now this is a film. It becomes a film when Tobin Bell's on screen.
It's a different kind of film, this one, because you kind of like, whereas in the first one, I was kind of like attached to Adam. I'm leaving Dr. Gordon out of that because I didn't really care too much. With this one, I think it's less about, you don't necessarily care as much about anyone specifically. You're more interested in who's going to get out.
I enjoy this film. It has a nifty twist. The pacing's good. It's got good Lee Winnell writing in it.
Yeah.
Like you could tell the Lee Winnell bits, the Darren and Balsman bits, can't you? It's funny because the bit that gives me a bit of chills is where we directly link it back to the first film.
Like
we're getting all the audio back from the first film. Like, oh yeah, that was cool.
When they walk into the bathroom.
Time,
and you just see Zepp's body, and then Adam's in the corner, and
you're hearing
all over.
And you're hearing the audio from the first film, like, oh, that was cool.
So, what would you rate this on the spoopy ghostometer?
Oh, 5 spoopy ghosts. Oh, it's a spoopy or spooky?
Spoopy.
Spoopy ghost. 3. 3 out of 5 spooky
I
ghosts.
agree. I was going to say, at first I was like 3.5, I was like, nah, it's not that good.
No, the bits that make it not a 3.5 for me is the acting from the people in the house.
Yeah.
We'll see you for Saw 3. That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah.
So that was Saw 3.
Yes, it was.
So far so far the most gory. Of
that wasn't the issue.
And the most inventive in terms of traps.
Yeah.
So far.
And the most convoluted up to now. The reason I'm gagging is because I just refused to watch the part with the pigs.
The pig
The
trap.
first time was worse, and it was like the worst, so I've just vowed never to watch it again for the sake of my stomach. And considering we literally had dinner just before watching this.
We had dinner while finishing
Saw
2. So it was still fresh with our...
Yeah, it was still fresh with dinner, so I was kind of, I don't want to see like blended pig while I'm eating my vegan meal.
I like to refer to essentially as the story of John and Amanda.
Yeah.
Is the basic...
It comes full circle, that's what I like about it, I guess, because it kind of just sort of ties off the end of that story arc.
Yeah, and then more gets on
and in
to
theory, well, obviously, I'm assuming this was meant to be the last one.
Well, this was the last one Lee Winnell was a part of.
So yeah, it was meant to be the last one.
So
then.
I know James Wan stopped after the first because James Wan solely saw it as
a one
and done. Lee Winnell clearly was like, no, there could be a good trilogy to this. Evidently, Lionsgate was like, we can get more out of this. We can churn. There were clearly elements that are like done for the 4th film.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that was also studio saying we can do one next year. Add this into the script.
Like the bit where he puts the tape on the bench and then melts the wax off.
Yeah, and there's
I
other
can't
bits.
remember what significance that has, but I'm sure it'll be in.
It's in the 4th one,
Yeah.
and then there's moments where like there's like Amanda reading a note where that comes into play later, also in the in the franchise.
I think this is the first one that had an actual moral in it, like a proper moral to the story. Because like the others were kind of like, oh, like enjoy your life and stuff, but then this one was like, oh no, like revenges and always what you think it's going to be, or it won't always lead to good things.
No, yeah, and I mean, again, it's like moments like that where I think Lee Winnell did have a...
Yeah,
like
I enjoy his writing, I just enjoy it. I enjoy the pleasures of Lee Winnell.
I think he's a very good screenwriter, and I do think he's just a very good creative mind. He did state that the pig trap was his favourite trap of the entire franchise.
I can imagine it was, to be fair. It's like the most gross one, isn't it?
What was quite odd about this film, I thought, was the whole, like, the game felt kind of to the wayside to the rest of the story. Whereas,
there was multiple games going on all at once.
Well, you know, the main thing with Jeff, like that kind of, with the traps and everything, that fell to the wayside. It all makes sense by the end.
Think about it, really, like the whole thing with Jeff, it's like, it's like an illusion in a way. It's like a false...
It's a reason to get him there and to put
That's it's like a false plot line because you think that that's going to be the game. And then the twist is that Jeff's game isn't the game, it's a game being played on Amanda. So, like, in theory, it's not supposed to be as focal.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with, like, because the main characters in the first film were the people getting tested. Then the main character in the second one was the investigator. And then the main characters in 3 were Jigsaw and Amanda, which is what I think Lee Winnell had in mind. It was like, let's have like the 3 different viewpoints be the main characters of the trilogy.
Plus, that's another thing. Just that there when we're talking about games. Why that wasn't Jeff's game? Jeff wasn't going to die in that. There was like
there was no way.
He wasn't working to save himself. He was working. He's like working through his grief. So in a way, it's like
it was an emotional game.
He's more of a prop than a victim.
I enjoyed the little aspects that we got to look more into John and Amanda as like a team.
But then there's also the thing as well as you can like sort of subtly see like where Amanda's gone wrong throughout of it because it's obviously she's promised him a lot of stuff and then it's like she's killing people when she's not supposed to. She's self-harming even though she promised she never would again and stuff.
Well, she's doing it on her thigh, so it's
that's what I'm saying. People often do so that because people won't see it.
Yeah. I think this would be a cool thing to say our like MVP of the film. We kind of agreed in Saw 1 it was Lee Winnell. Saw 2, Tobin Bell. Who'd you say was the MVP for Saw 3 then?
See, I think Tobin Bell was really good again.
Tobin Bell's good still.
But Jeff was good too, I think.
Yeah, You see, I would have a bit of a tie between Tobin Bell and Shawnee Smith.
Yeah, they were both really good. The lady who played the Doctor wasn't bad either. Really, at times.
At times, but then there was moments where it's like, again, I think it might have been the way everything was edited, but it was also like, because the editing again. It
was just certain parts, it was like, she was okay, and then just be a bit where she'd say something that would annoy Amanda.
I think she was the weakest link, though, in terms of actor-wise.
The same way she was the best was probably the brain surgery bit when she was like trying to like stop herself from getting the shakes.
Yeah, no, that was good.
No, I'd probably go with Shawnee Smith.
Yeah, no, I would say Shawnee Smith as well. Any weak points?
It's the third movie in a franchise, so it's obviously it's starting to get quite convoluted.
Yeah, they're adding things to like. Amanda helped bring Adam into the bathroom. We get way more into that type of stuff though. But yeah, no, at this point, I remember thinking when watching the third film for the first time, I was like, okay, they're adding a bit more to it, and I'm okay with it. For what this film is, all this is doing at the moment is just, it's saying like, oh, Amanda helped out at this point, which is okay right now. 2 best moments.
Probably the brain surgery part.
I would agree with that. Brain surgery is one for me.
And the point where everything kind of goes tits up, I think. That was quite...
Towards the end, you mean?
Yeah, but it's like the bit where he's like talking to Amanda and he's like...
The reveal.
Well, just before the reveal and the reveal, it's like before... not necessarily like right at the end where Jeff kills him, it's just the point where he's like saying... She's important to you, and she's like, no, she's not.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, she is.
No, yeah. I would say definitely the brain surgery and.
Just sort of last time it's where you see kind of like Amanda like sort of losing it, and then she comes in with a gun and.
Yeah, no, and then when like John's like.
You can see like the paranoia on her face even before she goes like off it, like when he's like holding the doctor's hand and stuff.
No,
like, what are you doing?
Weak elements.
Some of the acting we've already established wasn't great at times, and
the editing, I would say,
it's
getting more. It's getting
a bit
more.
sloppy editing. And I kind of felt like as well it was like the bit where the female police officer got killed at the beginning.
Oh yeah,
and I kind of understood the thing. I got the point 'cause it was like the whole thing like Amanda put her in a trap she couldn't get out of.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was just a bit of a plot device to get rid of that character. Like, I felt like you could have still illustrated that with Donnie Wahlberg and Adam.
I would say a lot of the first 10 minutes are kind of pointless for this film. Of course, they make up for it in the other films, but if we're talking about this film right now...
Yeah,
the first 10 minutes,
I feel like they just needed that character's been in the last 2 movies, and she's been relatively, like, present.
Prominent-ish.
Well, she's present, she's not prominent, but you remember her.
Yeah.
So I feel like they didn't have anything written for her, anything for her to do, so they just found a way to kill her. Or I feel like I think it was a combination of things. I think they needed to get rid of that character. They wanted to use it as a plot device for Amanda, and I feel like they wanted to shove that trap as well.
I was going to say, then they had a cool idea for a trap.
Yeah, so they wanted to show that off. But really, they could have used that trap on the freezer girl, to be honest.
They could have done.
Because the freezer thing wasn't...
It wasn't really like a thing. But it's like, for me, the film always starts when we directly get introduced to the Doctor. That's when Saw 3 starts.
And that little scene with the boyfriend in the motel...
That makes sense.
It makes sense, but I felt like, again, you could have, it was just there to kind of throw you off, Jeff being her husband, but you could have just not had that in there. You could have just had her as the Doctor. With no connection whatsoever. Just have her brought in as oh, she's a doctor, so we're going to kidnap you. I think it would have been a better reveal that oh, there's a link between her and Jeff.
Yeah.
Because really, if you hadn't have, obviously don't cut on straight away, but even with that scene, you probably wouldn't have thought on if you just thought oh, there's 2 strangers, there's the woman who's going to operate on him and there's just a guy kicking about.
Yeah.
But how many spoopy ghosts for this one?
I'll give it 3.
Me too. I'd stick with 3.
3 spoopy ghosts out of 5, but I still prefer Saw 2 a little bit more.
Yeah.
They're on the same level in the sense of rating wise, but
yeah.
I still.
I know what you mean, but I still like it because I feel like it ties in well with everything else.
It's a good character piece for John and Amanda, so it's that's why I like it a lot, more. And So that's
Saw 3.
That's Saw 3. We'll see you for Saw 4.
Ooh.
Ladies. Saw 4. Considering it is the second shortest film that we've watched so far.
Was it?
It
felt really long.
It was an hour and 35 minutes. It managed to pack in a lot, didn't it?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
Opinions on Saw 4, Sophie? Let's go around Saw 4. Why didn't they do like Saw 4? Like
Saw.
Saw.
Because they're not thick. It was a bit boring, to be honest.
You think it was a bit boring, did you?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna...
The editing made me angry.
The editing...
Made me angry. I was sat on the beanbag like...
The editing was pretty horrendous. Specifically moments... Well, the moment where Strong was interrogating Jill. Excuse me. And there was subliminal cuts of like shouting Strong with the gun to his head going...
I don't even really know what happened.
What do you mean? In the film?
Yeah.
Well, the twist
like,
is that...
I get, like, the whole thing, right? The detective bloke, for some reason...
Strong.
No, the other one.
Hoffman.
No, the other one.
Which other one?
The black guy.
Oh, Rig.
Yeah. He was...
It changed protagonist like halfway
That's
through,
why I was
didn't
like,
it?
what's happening? Because he got, like, sent on a mish
Yeah.
to, like, do something.
He wanted to find Funky Funk.
Oh, yeah. You wanted to find him, yeah. So Funky Funk's not dead.
No.
He's on an ice block.
Because he's on an iceberg.
Detective Hoffman's also on the trap.
Yes.
But he's not on an ice block, he's on a
No,
chair.
He's on a chair where he would get...
Decidedly less lethal, I guess. So he's looking for him.
Yes.
So then he has to put other people in... Well, he has to put the fat guy in a saw trap.
And he got... Yes, yeah. And the whole deal with that was it was to make it look like Jigsaw was recruiting him.
And then they were trying to find
yeah,
out if his wife knew anything.
Yes,
Jigsaw's
Jill.
wife knew anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then she got hit with the door and lost her baby.
Well, that was a bit of a backstory, yeah.
Yeah, I know. It was just because it was all over the place. It was just so all over the place. I was like, oh.
Yeah, this is the start.
Like I could kind of follow it, but it was just irritating.
And then the whole like thing when Rig, like the whole moral I guess was like, do not run into unprotected doors or something like that. I think so.
Is that like a?
I think he's.
Is that like a metaphor for using condoms?
I think the whole gist of it was don't be impatient.
Oh, well, that was a really convoluted way to teach us that lesson.
I'm not gonna argue Saw 4. I'm not gonna like fight for
the rights of Saw.
I'm not gonna fight for it. But I think it's safe to say that I enjoy this film a little bit more than you do.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I can.
I think I remember thinking it was okay the first time I watched it, but then I was watching it there and I was just like, oh god, it's
like partway through, you're like, this might be the second worst one.
Yeah.
Like from your memory, from pure memory.
In terms of like how entertaining it is, I mean.
With 4, I remember when I first watched it, I was like, I'm enjoying it. But it is starting to get very like convoluted with everything. Like we got a bit of backstory a bit more backstory
about
with John
Jigsaw
Kramer.
and his wife.
They were going to have a baby and then
Cecil.
Cecil.
Oh my god, can we talk about that shot, please?
Which one?
Where Cecil got out of his trap and then he tried to fight John Kramer.
There was like a bit where Cecil was going like, I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker.
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, and then like John Kramer was kind of like stood like, he was like kind of like,
come at me, bro.
Like I said, like it was a combination of like, come at me, bro, gives a hug, and I'm Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of like
moved out the way
to one
slightly.
side, and
he did a barrel roll into them.
And then Cecil just kind of like mosh pitted his way into like a ball of barbed wire. Since we've been doing it, what's your 2 highlights from this one?
The ice block.
Mm.
No, actually, scratch that. The bit where he killed... Well, he didn't kill him, but the bit where he, like, kidnapped the rapist.
Yeah.
And...
That felt very uncomfortable, that did, yeah.
It did, yeah, but it was weirdly satisfying. Yeah. It's a tie between the ice block and the barrel roll into the barbed wire, because that was just funny.
I have to say the Donnie Wahlberg ice block kill. It's easy top 10 best Saw kills.
Face plants and knives. That edit as well, we just kept cutting to that.
But before it even started happening, it was like...
It's just when they kept putting all these subliminal images in, I was like, why? It's not doing anything. But it's not even the hybrid, it's the bit where it's just flashes of an image.
Like the...
Just every now and again.
Yeah. Like
a subliminal thing. But it's like of no relevance whatsoever. Like what you were saying there about like him being like...
Oh, like just...
Like that had no relevance. Why was that there? What did that achieve? I mean, I know they were trying to go for a definite style with these movies, but that's just taking it a bit of a bridge too far.
The smart writing's was taken away, but you had Darren Lynn Bousman who still had kind of like the Saw feel to it, which is like this.
But it didn't have the same feel as the other three, I think.
And I think that is because of Lee Winnell's absence.
But that partially, I think it's because it's so like everyone who we kind of knew from it's gone now, which is fair. Some movies do that, or TV shows do that, and you can recover from it, but you kind of have to make all the characters likeable or cool, and there's not really...
I didn't mind Strong, like I feel like he had potential. Can we talk about the actress who plays Jill?
She's got...
Isn't she... I know we comment about the acting throughout the film so far, but is she... She's definitely the worst actor so far. How did I describe her? I described like she's like a 14-year-old student who got told to leave the classroom. She stood in the hallway like...
Yeah. So how many spoopy ghosts would you give this one?
2.5. 2.5 spoopy ghosts.
2 for me.
2, yeah, I thought like 2.5 for me because I still can find some enjoyment out of it. But yeah, it's a midway thing for me. We'll see you for Saw 5. Are we gonna? Do you want to do this tonight?
Yeah.
Do you want to watch Saw 5 tonight?
Yeah, get it out of the way.
Right, Saw 5. For people who are wondering why we are in different clothing and why it is clearly much lighter, is that the initial plan
was to watch Saw 5.
Yes, to watch Saw 5 and then talk about it in our tired state, because that would have been fun. But why didn't we do that, Sophie? Why didn't we go through that plan?
Not because Saw 5's an awful film. Well, partially because Saw 5's an awful film. But also because I fell asleep.
You fell asleep not even halfway through the film. Not even halfway through the thing. We had an hour left of the thing. So while this one was napping, she let me watch Saw 5 on my own, so I couldn't even have the support of someone. So Saw 5 is basically the film to try to make Detective Hoffman relevant within the Saw lore, because of since Saw 4, essentially it was the thing where it's like, yeah, this is what was happening during Saw 3, and since everyone that was important within Saw died, they needed to bring in a new character, so that's why in the 4th film they brought Detective Hoffman. Also within this film there's another trap that Detective Hoffman's doing with 5 other people, which has... You know in Saw 3 how I said the game fell to the wayside?
Yeah.
At least that was linked with
something.
This was not linked with the film at all. It was literally there just to be like, well, it's a Saw film, so we need some traps where the people had zero relevance whatsoever to the overall story of the film.
I'm not gonna lie, I lost interest after Not Stanley Tucci died.
The editing is extremely messy, to the point where it gets confusing of what the timeline is.
It was like back and forth, wasn't it? And there was like no...
There was no indication of... Was this before Jigsaw died? Was this after the whole thing with... Was this after?
Well, it was like both, but then because they were so like mashed together...
The film is very non-linear in the sense of where it and how it tells its story in a way.
I'm not being awful as well though, but that editing, like, I'm just thinking, like... They didn't even have to put on like 3 years earlier or anything like that. You could have just done a really subtle edit.
Or like a different filter.
Yeah.
Would have been fine. They're not afraid to do that usually when they up the contrast with the the flashbacks, do they?
No.
I don't get why they didn't do it this time. Like, there's the bit where it's essentially a memorial of, like,
dead
all
cops.
the people who...
No more dead cops!
Of all the people that died, and Detective Hoffman's getting this award thing.
Yeah.
Then it's cut to make him look like he's going...
Like he's leaving the room.
Well, no, that he's going back to his office.
Yeah.
And then he sees a note that says, I know who you are. But...
So you think, oh, someone's cottoned on?
But what that is, that's Jigsaw telling him, yeah, I know who you are. But so it makes no sense. This whole film was like, oh, like, even the twist, wasn't it?
What's the twist again? Is it the bit where he crushes him in the coffin, or is that?
Yeah, the twist is basically, which you could see a mile away, where Hoffman was essentially framing Strong for being the Jigsaw killer.
Yeah.
But that was just happening anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't see why.
They'd already tried to do it with Thingy, the other guy from the one before.
Rig.
Yeah.
In the fourth one, they were trying to say, how many, like...
Yeah, how many people are you going to try and frame before it kind of just comes full circle?
Where it becomes a thing like,
all these people who Detective Hoffman are saying the Jigsaw keep disappearing, what's going on here?
This is where stuff gets way too more convoluted with the whole thing, because then we see Detective Hoffman helped John Kramer get the fat guy from the first film in the barbed wire, and it's like, it's like so much stuff.
The problem is, it's because it's so much focus on him, and he's not a charismatic character at all.
No.
Like, obviously you're not going to like him, you're not supposed to, but he's just like...
Like, it would probably make sense if John Kramer was still alive and Detective Hoffman was just a side guy. But the fact that John Kramer is now dead in the storyline, he has to be the only one now. He has to be, like, Jigsaw. Like, I would have taken it if Amanda still survived and we just followed Amanda, but we didn't, because Lee Winnell evidently wanted everything to be wrapped up in the third film.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell by when all the important people die in the third film, you can totally tell that's Lee Winnell being like, I want this over with. There's really no good in this film. The editing's still horrendous. I hate the editing. Like, so much.
I can't even pick out like two favourite scenes from this because I don't even... The only thing I find funny is Killing is distasteful, and that's about it. There's not even a game over in this, is there?
No,
that's just a really weak one.
There was just no game over. It's like the room was... I said you when we first watched, like, they had the opportunity. Like, instead of closing a door, they were closing the room.
Yeah. And
you could have at least had Detective Hoffman go, game over, to Strong as he was getting crushed. But no, we just had Detective Hoffman going, as everything's shut, and I'm like, oh. And they didn't even have like a rock on metal song at the end credits. It was just...
Did they not?
No, it was just kind of like a lackluster, boring, like, bit of the score. It wasn't even the theme.
Yeah, it was just a bit of a score.
Yeah, it was like, that kind of sums it up, doesn't it? Our 5 spoopy ghosts, how much would you give this, Sophie?
I'm struggling.
Why?
Because I don't know whether I award it like half a spoopy ghost or one spoopy ghost.
I'm giving it 1 spoopy ghost. Simply for the scenes with Tobin Bell.
Yeah, that's why I was giving it a half, because I didn't like anything else about it. Maybe like the like,
and I like the
Stanley Tucci / Mark Strong / I don't know.
I like that, and I like the bits where... Oh, we barely talked about that trappy, do you know what? Because it had zero relevance to anything. I like the hand trap thing. That was the one where like they sliced it.
I'll give it a 1 spoopy ghost then go
on. I give it 1 heart, like part of it for the bit of Tobin Bell, and the other half for like...
For that storyline.
For like that... Just the cool little traps, but like nothing really else involving it. I can't even say it had good acting in it, because it really didn't that much. That was Saw 5, and we're giving it a little while till we see Saw 6, because we've got stuff to do.
Yeah, we've got stuff to do, but we're going to watch it when we get back.
We'll see you for Saw 6.
Tonight.
Saw 6.
We're back.
We're back. Talking about a much better film.
Yeah.
Saw 6.
Significantly better film. It's getting back up to being fun again, like enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, in some way, yeah.
It's still definitely really convoluted, but in a way that doesn't make you go, oh, for God's sake, what's happening?
The one bit that does annoy me about this film in terms of being convoluted is the bit where it's like, Amanda didn't kill the doctor in Saw 3 because she just was annoyed with her.
Yeah.
She killed the doctor because Hoffman was like, I know you were there when Jill lost her baby, and if you don't kill the doctor, I'm gonna tell John on you.
Yeah.
It's convoluted either way, and I don't
Yeah.
like the fact how they add that bit into the lore, the fact of like, that's why she killed the doctor.
I like the rivalry between them though.
Oh yeah, that's fun. Which leaves more reason, if you're going to make this a franchise, keep Amanda alive. Should have kept Amanda alive. The actor playing Detective Hoffman once again really hammered it up.
Yeah, but I did enjoy that last shot.
I
really enjoyed the storyline about the insurance guy.
Yeah. It's thoroughly enjoyable. Really, it's silly, but it's really enjoyable. However, there's one legitimately really good moment I like in it.
What's that?
The
the carousel thing. That's cool. I like that.
And like the interactions between all of them.
I like the fact that you're assuming throughout that, like, because obviously it's been a while since I watched it, so even I forgot this. But you're assuming that it's the wife and son who are his family.
Yeah, I like that
the
one.
Entire thing,
Again,
and then it turns out it's not. It's his sister.
Because
when I was watching it, when it was like, was on the phone, like, oh, for you better, I thought it was going to be like, oh yeah, he's having an affair or something with her, or.
Yeah, no.
And then it's like, oh no, it's his sister. I was like, oh, okay.
The traps are cool. The traps are invested.
Yeah, I think he cared about the characters more, or at least the characters within, like, that story arc.
Yes.
And I thought it's pretty cool when they're like, I think there's quite a bit of suspense when they're in the room and they're doing the thing with the voice changer and trying to work out his voices. And you can see him getting like more and more like, as it's getting like closer and closer to his voice, and that's cool, I like that.
And then like a kind of outright funny scene happens where he just knifes them all.
Which I was a little bit good about because I like the police officer, the female police officer,
Who, it was like, oh, you're alive! Oh, you're dead again. The game is it makes sense with like, because essentially this film is like John Kramer's will being acted out, so it makes sense for like this trap to be done because it's like, oh. Whereas the fifth film was like, why is this one? I think the fifth film was literally for like the game in the fifth film was Detective Hoffman's. Having a little muck around, playing Jigsaw, as Jigsaw. Betsy Russell, the actress who plays Jill.
She's a lot less like, in this one, I think. She's not great. She's still not great, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot less of that being like,
Oh, yeah, there is. This is like the film where it becomes apparent, like, oh, she's involved in the Jigsaw crew as well. What about that, like, incredible acting scene between her and the reporter? When I went, two acting juggernauts. It's like, what do you want? Do you recognise this? Where'd you get this? It's found at the scene where John died.
I was expecting them to like strip down their ring gear and start like having a mud fight, and Jerry Lawler to be all like, oh my god,
like, oh, puppies and all that shit. Yeah. It was very 2003 diva promo.
Yeah.
The only thing that was missing was like, your tits aren't bigger than my tits. It's like, well, you ain't got booty like I got booty, or something like that. Like, that's the only thing that was missing from that of becoming a 2003.
I want to overdub the movie now.
Oh yeah, we got Swinging Billy the Puppet.
That was the best thing.
That was amazing. That was pretty incredible, wasn't it? They start talking like, behind me, it's like, come on, like, where are we at, like, with this?
Yeah, like, what you doing, Billy? Sort your life out. I must admit, it was kind of funny at the end, like, where he had the bear trap on, and then they'd injected the guy with the acid, and everyone was just like, like, everyone was just screaming. He was screaming. The wife and the kid were screaming. His sister was screaming. Detective Hoffman was screaming.
But he was screaming for another reason. And then he
like just all screaming. Just all screaming. All at once.
With like the it's like
we had that Bob ass opening scene. Look at my arm.
Where she was like, ah.
It was the best actor ever. Should we do our spoopy rating?
We need to do that.
What's your spoopy ghost rating for this one?
I would say 2.5 spoopy ghosts out of 5. On the same level as Saw 4 to me, but for a different, like Saw 4 I still find like cool to the overall story. Where it's fun, it has some good traps, and it's a bit silly at times, and it's entertaining.
I'd probably give it 2.5 as well. I was sort of leaning towards 3, but I was like, no, because then that puts it up there with some other films I've rated on Letterboxd.
Well, no, we're talking about this within the spoopiness.
Oh, within the spoopiness.
Within the horror film.
Within how much we enjoyed it. That was kind of how we were doing the spoopy right at the beginning.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Like, how much we enjoyed
And we just naturally put it on Letterboxd, but
yeah.
But me personally, I would say 2.5. Like, it's a good halfway.
For enjoyment, I'd go for a 3.
Yeah. But for like an
But
actual
for a
film,
quality of film, maybe like a
2.5.
2.5, yeah.
No, it's a very enjoyable film, but it's silly. We'll see you for the next Saw film.
The final chapter, which isn't the final chapter.
I'll talk about that. We just finished watching Saw 3D, but it won't be called that now because it's not in the cinemas. So it's Saw the final chapter, but it's not the final chapter anymore since Jigsaw's coming out later this month. So it's Saw Hoffman's Massacre.
Saw 7.
Oh, it's one of the most beautiful pieces of cinema ever, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
just,
pretty much.
it's when watching Saw 7, it's one of these things where I'm like, how did we go from the first film to this?
Yeah, we went from something semi-serious to...
Where do we start?
What did he shout again? Something, shut up, Tina, or something. We're breaking up with you, Tina! I mean, I'm going to say this now. That first thing where they're in the Debenhams window, or whatever. It's not Debenhams.
Fenwick's window.
Yeah.
The public trap, yeah.
Yeah, the public trap. When we first watched that the first time around, I thought that was like a publicity stunt. Like, the thing I thought it was like in the Scream movies. I was saying you this when we were watching it. Like, the Scream movies, obviously, like, the events happen in Scream. And then in Scream 2 and onwards, they've made, like, movies out of it in that universe. So I thought this was going to be like, oh, they've made like movies based on the Jigsaw killings.
Well, I remember when we first watched it and we were like, nah, the acting's so bad, this can't be real. And then we were like, nah, that can't be true. And then the blood started happening. I was like, oh no, yeah, sure.
And then the guts started flying
and
out.
the gore was really bad, and we were like, nah, this is fake. And then Saw 3D popped on the screen.
Yeah,
I was like,
that was
oh
legit.
no, that was... Where did we go from this then? So we had the public trap, which is one of the most funniest things.
We've got Chester Bennington, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Chester Bennington. Still a pretty amazing scene if you want like really over the top gore. When
But it's very fake gore. It all kind of looks like if you know, like marshmallow peeps. If you put a load of pink marshmallow peeps in the microwave and then covered them in like strawberry sauce.
And the bit where it's like your back is glued to the seat. It's like,
with what glue? Because I'm not being fake. I've super glued my hand to a door by accident once, and that wasn't like...
Yeah, your whole hand doesn't fly off.
Yeah, just snaps a bit when you pull it off.
But then you see like the woman's head just flies. It
turns into an Easter egg.
And then the guy gets his jaw and his arms ripped off.
And he becomes that Walking Dead thing that you've got upstairs.
The ones Michonne has. And then and then the other guy just goes like...
He just gets like exploded through a door.
And then Chester Bennington flies through a windscreen.
It's just... It's beautiful.
And Diamond headbutts through another car.
Oh, and there's like a guy in this movie who's like... he's like...
Christ.
He looks kind of like Tim Roth.
Are we on about the detective bloke?
His name no one seems to... He looks kind of like Tim Roth, but he's like so over the top. It's beautiful.
Crazy.
It's like if
crazy.
He's going, why are you being so crazy?
Crazy.
He reminds me of like, who's the actor in Secret Window who plays Shooter?
John Turturro.
Yeah, he's like John Turturro and Tim Roth in Planet of the Apes combined.
God, he is in
like that kind of performance.
It's like I remember,
and it's like it's so funny to watch because it's just like, what are you doing, dude?
It's weird because we know now this isn't the final Saw film.
It kind of the way it ended though, it didn't end like the final.
That's
Saw
what
film.
I'm saying. The whole thing, like when everything wrapped up, it's like,
It's just like Dr. God and his sheeple.
Do you mean his pigpull?
His pigpull.
His pigpull.
I guess.
No.
It's like the Wyatt family, but with pigs.
God, it is, and all instead of sheep masks, it's pig masks. After the opening scene, when like, where Hoffman's like, ah, with his like half face, and then Jill hides behind like nothing, and she's going like, she's literally doing this.
And he looks right at her like 3 times.
And all he does is like picks up this reverse bear trap and it's like, I like to imagine he's like, we're gonna take this bear trap, we're gonna fix me face up, we're going to put this bear trap on you, and I'm going to say game over, and it's going to be totally awesome. The bit where the machine gun just pops up and guns everyone down.
It turns into Godfather 3.
3? Oh yeah, with the helicopter.
My coat!
So stupid. Anyway, but it's like where the guy, when it goes slow motion and the guy playing Tim Roth, he can't even act dead. How come this guy, when he gets shot, he does this? But then he has this face of like as he's
like, am I dead?
Like he does like, did this just happen to me? There's only one scene that Tobin Bell is in this film. It's
the best scene he's been in the entire franchise, in all honesty.
And with his backwards baseball cap.
Where he just comes to intimidate Ed Norton a bit.
Which is Bobby. His baseball cap
Bob Norton.
His baseball cap is phenomenal. But then you get the Tobin Bell with the baseball cap, and it's like, why do I imagine Tobin Bell was like they phoned him up, it's like, yeah, we need you for the film.
And that was just him on his jog.
Yeah, he was
just jogged to the studio and he was like, wearing those clothes.
With his hands in his pocket. And then but that mucks up the timeline. So I'm like, how long has this guy been faking being a jigsaw victim? Like, how long has he been faking being a jigsaw victim? And how long? And why are people still that bothered about him if he's been faking it for that long?
Yeah.
Because the fact that John Kramer could just walk up to him and no one knows who he is, people were aware that he was blinking Jigsaw within the 4th film.
I think this...
Which took place during the 3rd film.
Yeah.
So it would have had to have been before he got fully cancelled, so even before the 2nd film.
I think this must have been like just after the first one. But
that makes zero sense in the sense of like there wasn't that many jigsaw victims. But should we get to the scene, the latter part of?
Oh, you're forgetting something.
Oh, are you on about the car?
Yeah.
The car.
The dream sequence when it's like Nightmare on Elm Street for like 5 minutes and then all of a sudden she's like strapped up and she's got like this bright pink dress on.
Where he goes where Detective Hoffman goes, you know what sucks. He basically says, you know what sucks about killing you, Jill? I can't do it twice. No, I only can do it once.
It's just one of those lines where you're just like, oh, really?
Yeah, and then like the thing just goes
flying and she just becomes like... she bungee jumps to death.
But let's get to the main bit, which is the ending. And a bit in the ending. Do you want to explain, what...
I don't think I can. This is your favourite scene throughout the entire franchise, I think, so...
Barring the ending of the first film.
Yeah.
And then it's for all the wrong right reasons. I'm not going to say Detective Hoffman because he's not detective anymore. Hoffman.
He's Mark Hoffman.
Mark Hoffman. They unzip the body bag.
I think he's Mark Hoffman.
He's Mark Hoffman. And then you just see Hoffman open his eyes, goes, and just
stabs a guy.
And then he just goes on a stabbing rampage, and then it's just...
The bit where he just kind of stands in the doorway looking sinister, then he just walks through.
That's my favourite shot in the whole film, because it's I don't know.
He's probably still getting in the glass yo, the guy, he's just
yeah, he's he just goes it's like a wide shot, and he just kind of walks in the frame.
He looks like, you know what he looks like? It's like when they're filming live news or something and someone accidentally walks in the frame and looks kind of angry and kind of confused.
And he literally murders everyone. He
just obliterates everyone. Literally that one woman bites him and then he just snaps her neck.
With a knife and snapping the neck. Then we finally see the reverse bear trap, which at first...
The first time you watched that you were disappointed, but
yeah, because my expectations were really high to see a head go flying or whatever, but nah, this one was kind of
Let's go now, it was more realistic.
But my mindset was look, for what this film has shown us, I would at least expected half a head to fly off. That's...
Yeah, I get what you mean.
It's okay, yeah, realistically that's what would happen, but what have we just seen?
At what point was this film?
What have we just seen?
I love the part as well where Carrie Elwes is so unsubtle in that meeting. Where he's just sat at the back of the room and he's just
and he's well done. But in the bit with that meeting, it's when he started speaking again, I was the accent.
And then it just sounds so sinister.
And there's the bit where
he doesn't even try hard, he's just proper nice job.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But it's like the bit where it's like he's like when he applauds to Bobby, he literally looks at Bobby going, yeah, but then Detective Hoffman blows up the warehouse.
He just blows up.
Detective Hoffman blows up
and walks away from the explosion.
Which is like, I remember when we first saw that, we just we couldn't stop laughing. I think we had to
this become Die Hard?
I think we had to pause the film at that point. It's like, hang on a minute. And then the best reveal of the entire film happens. It's not really, but Dr. Gordon.
Detective Hofgordon.
And I was like saying, I was like, oh, well, where does he fit in the timelines? Like, he just did mostly all the surgery stuff, didn't he?
The surgery, he wrote letters.
Yeah.
He had nice writing.
Yeah. Since I didn't watch these as they were coming out, apparently on like the forum side, Jigsaw, it was a joke from like the first film, like, imagine if it's revealed that Dr. Gordon is in cahoots with Jigsaw. And it was a joke.
And then it became a real thing.
This is blinking Jinder Mahal winning the WWE title. It's like, imagine if they did. They wouldn't, but imagine. And then they did. Gordon grabs the saw.
And they put the 3D, well, it's obviously meant to be a 3D effect.
And he's like...
But we're watching this in 2D.
Yeah, it doesn't hold up. And he looks and he goes like, not today. He doesn't say that, but
not today.
He may as well have went, not today. And he just flings at the camera and so... Rating of Spoopy Ghosts.
I'm going to give this one a 2.
This is a difficult one. Okay, I'm going to get... Okay, Spoopy Ghosts. It's a 2. It's a 2 out of 5 Spoopy Ghosts.
For entertainment alone.
2 out of 5 Spoopy Ghosts. But in terms of...
I can't pick a favourite moment because I just like nearly all of it. Like how funny it is.
But in terms of Chuckling Pumpkins...
Chuckling Pumpkins.
It's easily like a 4.5.
Oh yeah.
Have the Chuckling Pumpkin scale. You guys can probably put together what each of those mean.
Yeah.
Spoopy Ghosts are the actual like rating for the horror.
Yeah.
And then the Chuckling Pumpkins is like, well, how much fun did we have with this stuff?
Yeah.
How much like guilty pleasure-y fun. Along with The Marine, these are like my top 2 guilty pleasure films.
Oh yeah.
Like I know they're horrendous. The Saw franchise is kind of a perfect horror franchise in the sense you start off with a really good horror film and you end with just the most insane horror film.
It's like it is. It's one of those films. It's like it's so bad. It's great.
Yeah. It's one of these things like if you're not going with the small independent route, go all out.
Yeah.
Just go insane with it all. Like don't do the middle ground. Yeah. One thing I do have to say is I'm very much so looking forward to Jigsaw. I haven't seen a single trailer.
I've seen like the first few seconds of the trailer before the Twisted Pictures thing came out. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch this.
You know what? I hope it's legitimately a good film.
Yeah.
But if it's not, I hope it's absolutely insane.
It needs to be Saw or Saw the Final Chapter. There is no in between.
So guys, that is our first video for this Spooktober. This was fun. I enjoyed this. Snap! Things you have to look forward to for Spooktober. We'll give a little bit of a tease. We're probably going to do a discussion on... we're going to talk about Creep.
Yeah.
And Creep 2 when that comes out later this month. There was something else.
Scooby.
That was what I was going to say. And the main thing we are currently watching the original Scooby-Doo Where Are You cartoon series. So we're going to
talk about that a little bit.
We're going to finish season 2 and we're going to have a bit of a discussion.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. And Sophie, what's in the description?
We've got some Letterboxd.
We got some Letterboxd.
Got a little bit of Facebook.
Got a bit of Facebook, yeah.
Got a sprinkling of Twitter.
Yes, mostly Twitter, yeah.
We've got just a little bit of Instagram.
Some Instagram, yeah.
That's it.
That's
it.
Till next time, guys, we shall see you later. Game over.